I had a quote of yours. I have a couple of them, recent quotes, and I'm at least going to read one of them to you, and maybe you can explore a little bit more what you meant by what you said. And it's
Okay.
something that you had written over the past couple of months. You said, "Not seeing ourselves as we actually are, but how we would prefer to see ourselves, cannot be aligned with the experience of inner peace, because that distorted view has to be maintained by deceiving ourselves. And self deception requires lying, and lying causes stress."
I can say something about that, especially because if you have a view of yourself as an investor, it should be a clearer view of your capacity, not only your knowledgeability, which is relevant, but you should know your temperament and be honest about it. Because there are, I grew up, or in my younger years, I was involved in gambling in terms of horse racing and card playing and like that is a very short term. A horse race lasts for 2 minutes, a minute or 2 minutes, and then it's over. It's a gamble, but it's over in 2 minutes. And in order to uh, uh, feel okay about that kind of gambling, you have to feel okay about winning and losing in a minute or a 2 minute period of time, which is can be traumatic for people, uh, as opposed to investing in something that a gamble that takes a number of years, because it's all gambling. The gamblers, as I said, the gamblers without the ties and gamblers with the ties. So the ties, as in these ties. So a long term gamble is you have a chance to recoup. You always have a chance to recoup. Well, maybe it'll come back. Maybe it'll come back, whether it's a business investment or a securities investment. Maybe it'll come back. You have a longer time. If you go to a casino and you put some chips down on a number on the roulette wheel, you're not even going to get the minute and a half that you got at the racetrack. But in Las Vegas, some years ago, there was an idea to build a racetrack, and it never really materialized because people wanted that faster action. They wanted to be able to decide to win and lose in a minute or a minute and a half. So knowing your temperament is really important, and being honest with yourself about it. If you recognize that you really have trouble pulling the trigger, whether it's to buy or to sell, whatever the opportunity is, and you agonize over it, there's nothing worth agonizing over. You get one life, and agonizing is not a way to spend your life. Uh, yes, it's nice to win, and it's not so nice to lose, but agonizing is definitely not required. So the idea of knowing your temperament, in my opinion, is of extraordinary importance, and self-honesty is part of that. Also knowing your ability to assess something. So your ability to assess, do you need advice from experts? Are you an expert yourself? How much of an expert are you? Are you an expert because you read somebody else's newsletter and now you're passing on that information that expert had? Or was that person even an expert to start with? No offense to any of the newsletter publishers that we have listening, maybe. But there are experts, and there are people who are just repeating what they've heard before. So it's being honest with yourself and really knowing the nature of your temperament and your capacity to know really what's happening. But that addresses also the self-honesty of what you actually are doing. If you support somebody, whether it's a relative or you're a venture capitalist, in starting a business, you recognize that you're gambling, but you also like the idea of what you're doing, and you like the idea of what they're doing, and you have some honesty about the possibility of winning and losing in that undertaking too. So I consider self-honesty a tremendous asset for any of those characterizations, whether you're an investor or a speculator or whatever level you are, venture capitalist, that's important.